Hello, everybody. Thanks for tuning in again tonight, this evening. I was just live a little bit earlier, and we were discussing games people play, the season finale of games people play. So if you missed that review, make sure you go back and check that out, please, and thank you very kindly, because that season finale was everything. When I tell you it was everything, I'm just adjusting this light because it seems kind of off. But yes, it was everything. So if y'all missed the season finale of the games people play, the review that I did, make sure you check it out. This review that I'm about to do right now is on the Handmaid's Tale. Of course, as usual, if you watch the show that I review, feel free to, add your input into the chat and let me know how you feel about the different scenes that we're going to discuss, or about the TV show, in particular. But make sure you also click the like button on your way in. Show me some love, because you know how the haters are. They don't be trying to get a girl no likes. So make sure you hit the like button, please, and thank you very kindly. And this episode, actually, I thought that maybe something would be accomplished this episode. Either the baby Nicole would either be forced to come back, or June's husband would be forced to give her back to Serena and Commander Waterford, Fred, or they would be like, okay, we made our decision and we're gonna keep baby Nicole in Canada, the new little America, or whatever they call it nowadays. But anyway, come on in, everybody. Make sure you click the like button for me, please. But because last episode, Serena, she had wanted to give a proper goodbye, say her last goodbyes to baby Nicole, who's in Canada. She had helped June be able to pass her off to her husband and to her best friend, in Canada, to raise her and take care of her until June, hopefully, one day will be able to, reunite with the baby and, live with her husband and, up there in Canada, free from Gilead. But when that happened, when Serena went up there and when she went to see the baby, she was like, she started feeling that connection again. She started feeling that connection that she felt when June first handed the baby off to her after she had the baby and had to give her baby away to Serena. She started feeling that connection again. That love started kicking in, and she was like, having a change of feelings. Like, nope, this is not the last time that I'm going to see baby Nicole. I want her in my life. So she told Serena that, and Serena was like, she told June that, and June was like, but you said that, the baby, she's better off in Canada. You agreed that she's better off in Canada. Basically she couldn't believe that she was trying to take the baby back, or trying to get the baby back, because technically speaking, in this world of Gilead, the baby is not Nicole's, is not Fred's, is not, her husband, it's not Serena's husband or Serena's baby. It's actually June's, and it's Nick. Or should we say Commander Nick? Did that catch you guys off guard when we found out the history on Nick? I was like, oh my God. It kind of makes sense now. It kind of makes sense how the commander would always look at him kind of weird. Like, okay, for one, he knew Nick and Nicole. Not Nicole, but Nick and June had some kind of relationship. He knew that. Of course, he knows the baby isn't his. The baby isn't his wife, Serena's, obviously. But I think he was like thinking, okay, this is another person, on our side. Because June all along had thought that Nick was working for the Waterfords as just a servant of sorts, like the Handmaids and the Marthas. She thought he was just like a servant of the sorts. But come to find out, Nick has been doing a lot of things and being involved in a lot of things, with and for Gilead, and for what they beliefs are now, having the handmaids and the servants and stuff like that. But We'll get to that. We'll get to that. But yeah, after seeing baby Nicole, Serena, she was like, she wants her baby back. So when when the show first started this episode, you see June, she's out there, walking back from the grocery or walking to the grocery. As they do like every single morning, all the handmaids, they go to the grocery stores, they get what they need, and then they walk back to the house, with their stuff. And she's up there like, dang, the Waterfords are praying. They praying really hard, to get baby Nicole back. Her husband, Serena's husband, Commander Waterford, he's praying. Serena's praying. While June is up there praying that their prayers go unanswered. And she's like, okay, God, I realize Serena wants this baby back. I realize Commander Waterford wants this baby back. But Lord, I don't want their prayers to be answered. She's praying that Serena eventually comes to her senses, regains some kind of power, and realize that Nicole is better off in Canada, like she agreed when they, to see the commander and sent baby Nicole to Canada. And she says, if she don't realize it's that, then at least, convince Fred, Officer, Waterford, to just let things be. Just let it go. Just forget about it. They can go ahead and have another baby by another handmaid, by their new handmaid. Or, God, I pray that they both get hit by a truck. I was cracking up because right when she said that a vehicle had came by really fast right in front of her, and she was just looking like, June, she don't know what to do right now. She don't know what to do. She's angry, she's bitter, she's sad, she's having all these emotions, running through her head because she knows, her baby, this Gilead is no place for anybody to live. No place for no children to grow up in. But for now, June, they asked her to go with the Waterfords to meet up in D.C., a public display of prayer. I thought that was so strange. That was like really strange. They were going to do a public display of prayers. They was going to get all these TV stations to take all these TV stations to film it live on air, a public prayer, and all the handmaids is going to be like hundreds and hundreds of handmaids is going to be there, and Serena and Fred Waterford and June, of course. We're going to like lead the prayers. Well, June didn't really like lead the prayers. She was kind of standing there looking like, I can't believe these people. I mean, her expressions is everything. Her expressions alone, I'll be like, she looks like she could kill them. June looks like if it just one little push too much, and she will let loose on that whole family. Like when Serena, okay, at the end of the show, when her and Serena was arguing, and she told Serena, I should have let you die in that fire. Y'all remember that? When Serena, she was all depressed and stressed and sad and everything, and she set her bed on fire in her bedroom. She set the whole bed aflame, and June came in there and basically snatched her up real quick and dragged her out of the house because Serena was gonna burn up in that house. That whole house burned all the way down to the ground, and Serena was gonna be right in that house right on that bed, like the burning bed. Except for she wasn't in the bed; she was just standing, around the bed. But anywho, June, she took her out. She rescued her, took her outside the house. The house burned down. They ended up, had to go to another house. The Waterfords had to go to another house. But while they're in D.C., that they had hopes of basically the prayers, these public prayer displays, to have some kind of effect on the Canadian authorities, kind of like make them feel pressured to force June's husband to send baby Nicole back to the Waterfords, back to Gilead. And she was accompanied by Lydia. I don't know how I feel about Lydia after this episode. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about Lydia. Like, afterwards, after the interviews, when June came back into her room and Aunt Lydia came in there and she was asking her, "Are you okay? Is everything okay?" And she asked her, she said, "Do you want us to be silenced? Like the handmaids." She was like, "Do you want the handmaids to be permanently silenced? Because you saw the wraps that they have around their head and it like snaps in the back and it's real tight. And the whole uniform, the whole handmaid's uniform that they had on, and the hat, and then the thing that goes around their face to kind of like keep them or prevent them from talking or speaking." So she asked her, she said, "Do you really want us to be silenced?" And Aunt Lydia was like, "No." She said no. And I was like, okay, where's this going? And then she sat down next to June and told her, she said, sometimes this gets really, really tiring. It gets really tiring. But she says when she gets tired, she starts to pray and she starts to hope, because she said she knows that there is still some good in this world that she could do, for God. She's basically like, there's something that I can do, for God, to satisfy God in this world. And it's to help somebody. And she's like, if it's just to help one person, then I'll know that I've done something to please God. And then she told her that one person was June. And I was kind of shocked to hear that. And then June started crying. Then Aunt Lydia grabbed her and was holding her and seemed like she was crying. I mean, they had the scene from the back of their heads. So they looked like they both were crying. And I was like, now this is definitely a change. This is something new coming from Aunt Lydia, because y'all know Aunt Lydia is the one who basically dishes out all the punishments. She dishes out all the punishments to the ladies when they get out of line, if they be disrespectful to their commanders or to the wife, if they try to run away, anything like that. They get their hands cut off, their fingers cut off, they get their tongues cut out. The lady who when they went to visit the Winslows, when we saw their handmaid, she had like some metal contraption, some wires or something like covering her mouth, and it basically held her top mouth and her bottom mouth, and it was like in a clamp. She couldn't even open her mouth. She couldn't move her lips. She couldn't do anything. I don't know if she had a tongue in there, if she didn't have a tongue in there. We done seen them, get rid of people's tongues when they speak too much, or when they say too much, or when they get smart, with their commanders or the families that they assign to. So I don't know if that was the case with her, but it's obviously that their punishments are more severe than those where June is coming from. And June is like, this just isn't right. It just isn't right. And that's why she continually be trying to make Serena, stand up for the women, because Serena has a voice. Serena, she done been at the table many times. She helped start this whole Gilead, this whole way of living that they are in right now. So she's hoping Serena eventually see the light, because June don't want anybody else to suffer from, being forced to have children by their commanders when the wives can't have children or whatnot. So we'll see. But as far as, them in Canada, and when they went to DC, when they got to DC, there's a family there. Commander Winslow, I think I'm saying his name right, Winslow, Mr. and Mrs. Winslow. That family was strange. Don't you think that family was a little bit strange? When they got there, I guess that's where they were staying. They opened up their home to them. They had traveled from Chicago to was it Chicago? Yeah, Chicago to DC, and the Winslows opened up their homes for them. And when they got in there, they realized the Winslows had the grip of kids. Now, all these kids that they got is from the handmaid. none of them kids are, Mr. or Mrs. Winslow's. But that's how it is in Gilead. All the families, the children that are created are by the handmaid and the husband. That's how it's supposed to go. Because the wives can't have any children. For those of y'all who might not watch the show or, might need more clarity, that's how it's supposed to go. In Gilead, the only people who basically have their own homes and do whatever they want is the commanders and like their wives, and everybody else is like handmaids, Marthas. They clean, cook, take care of the kids, or they have to work out in the fields, or they also have the Jezebels, who what Jezebels are. Jezebels, they kind of work in a facility, and their job is to make sure any man who comes in is well taken care of. So, but they get to DC, and Commander Winslow and his wife, they welcome in the house, and all these kids is running around, and June and the Martha, Rita, for the Waterfords, they're Martha, they're looking like, what in the... They're not used to that, because in Gilead, most of the people who have children with their handmaids, most of the commanders who have children with their handmaids, they had like maybe one child, maybe two children. These people had like 5, 6, 7 kids, and they all was like bam, 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 right after each other. So they was looking around, June and the Martha for the Waterfords. They looking around like, what in the heavens? Why they got all these? How many kids do they need? But then on the other hand, the Waterfords, Serena and Fred, they was looking like, oh wow. Well, blessed be the fruit. You know how they say? They be like, blessed be the fruit. Oh, Lord. But, they were like, this is a miracle. I can't believe they have all these children. This is awesome. This is great. I mean, they was like shocked, and they were like happy to see this going on, because again, they're not used to all these kids. They're not used to handmaids. And like one handmaid having all these kids with one person. But then remember the scene when Commander Waterford and Commander Winslow, when they were playing pool. Remember that scene in the pool room? I don't know what's going on here. Again, I said this family is kind of strange. But when they were playing pool, Commander Waterford, he had stood up, and he was on one side of the pool table. Commander Winslow was on the other side of the pool table. And Commander Winslow, he was like, I heard about, what's been going on with you guys, and I didn't have a lot of faith in you at first. Basically, that's what he was saying. I didn't have a lot of faith in you at first, to get the Canadians to find like a middleman to kind of interview you to see, where y'all head at, what type of family y'all got going on in here in Gilead, to determine if they should return, baby Nicole to you. And so he was telling them, I can't believe, but you did it. You did it. And he was getting all close to him. Like when he walked over to him and he was doing that pool stick, when he was twisting the pool stick, and the way he was twisting it, the way he was talking to him, all soft and stuff, I was like, what is going on? Next thing I know, he bends all the way over, because Mr. Waterford was sitting on like a stool or a chair. He was sitting on something, so he wasn't standing up there. He was sitting down. So when Mr. Winslow bent all the way over, Fred was sitting down. So Mr. Winslow's backside, he had it popped out, pushed out, propped up, and everything like a donkey booty. Sitting there, just holding the pool stick all in Fred's face. And Fred, he kept scooting back like like what's going on? First I thought it was me. I'm like, I'm reading too much into this. But I'm like, no, that ain't me. That ain't me. I think Mr. Winslow is trying to come on to Fred Waterford. And then the other scene when they standing up on the other side of the pool table, And Mr. Waterford, Fred is then down, about to shoot some pool, and Mr. Winslow comes behind him and he's grabbing him around his neck and he's massaging his shoulders all soft and slow motion, and rubbing his back. You know how you rub somebody's back like a little baby and they get a burp or something? You rub their back, and I'm like, and Mr. Waterford is just looking like, what the mess is going on? You could tell that Mr. Waterford was very, very, very uncomfortable. And he didn't know how to react. And so my thing is this man bisexual? Mr. Winslow, I wonder if he's bisexual. Because when his wife was talking to the Commander Waterford's wife, Serena, when Mr. Winslow's wife was talking to Serena, she was telling her, oh, you guys are going to be blessed too. We have all these children, blessed from God, and woo woo woo. And Serena, she's taking all this in, so she's more excited, because she thinks that she's going to get Nicole back, right? The baby Nicole, and she's looking at their family and all these children and how happy their home is. And so she's picturing herself, being that happy in her own home. And I'm up here like, okay, his wife can't have no kids, so they have a handmaid. He's knocking his handmaid up probably every 9 months, barely giving her time any recuperate, because the kids is like stair steps. And then he's up there flirting with Commander Waterford. I was like, is he or is the handmaid, is he like on the down low and he's using the handmaid and using his wife as a cover? I don't know. I cannot wait to the next episode. I really cannot wait to the next episode, because I have to see where this is going to go. Because I have a feeling that he is going to come on to more directly come on to Commander Waterford. So that's what I'm looking forward to see if I'm right, because something don't feel right. But then he also said a man of your assets can be an asset. He said a man of your assets could be an asset. Fred was looking at him like, I don't know, bro. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're trying to do, but I don't get down that way. But yeah, I was really tripping about that scene, but I don't know. We gonna see. But after seeing the handmaid, as far as Serena goes, June is still trying to get her, even while they in DC, she's trying to get her to change her mind, to just leave baby Nicole up there. Just let her be, because this is a better life for her. She even told her when Serena sat down, she was like, when they were sitting down talking, she was like, I know what I said before. I know I said that Canada is a better place for her and she deserves a better life and woo woo woo. She was like, but after I saw her, everything changed. She's like, you don't understand, everything's changed, and my feelings are differently now. So Serena was like, even after you saw the Commander Winslow and his wife's handmaid, like she said, did you see her? Did you see her mouth stapled shut with some type of wire contraption? I don't know if Mrs. Waterford saw that, because again, they wear these things across their face, and June wouldn't have even saw it until she went to bed and she had to share a room with that handmaid, and the handmaid started pulling off her clothing, and then she turned around and faced June, because June kept saying, hello, I'm sorry, I'm intruding your space and your room, but this is where they put me. I apologize. Please accept my apology. She just going on talking, and then the lady's not responding. So June turned around to look, because she thinking the lady is probably upset because she has to share a bedroom with her. And then the handmaid, she turns and faces her, and it's just a freakish. It's so very eerie. She was just like turned, and her whole mouth just this wire, this contraption. So obviously she said something. I'm thinking the punishment came from her saying something, her spilling some secrets, spilling some tea on the Gillian lifestyle, that the rest of the world is trying to figure out, what's really going on in Gilead. Because remember, Gilead, they was making it seem to the rest of the world in Canada that all the handmaids were happy and well taken care of, and they offered their services. They offered to have children by these commanders, by these men whose wives can't have kids, and that the Marthas who work in the homes for all these rich people and commanders and whatnot, politicians and whatnot, they're happy and they're working there because they want to work there. So they've been trying to, make the rest of the world believe that nothing's wrong with their way of living and everybody's happy. But they're not. They're not. And it seems like in different parts of Gilead, the punishment is a lot stricter. A lot stricter. That was the first that I seen somebody's mouth clamp shut. So I don't know. But anyway, Miss Waterford, I don't think she saw that. I don't think she saw that. When June asked her about it, she didn't respond. She didn't say she saw it or nothing. At least she didn't act like she was bothered by anything about the handmaid. So she's basically trying to shun June off and tell her, let her know, I'm here to get my baby, which is not her baby. And that's it. And that's that. But then when we saw Nick come in, the real father of the baby, I was like, what the heck is he doing here? Even the commander, Fred, Mr. Waterford, he was like, what the heck are you doing here? I thought that they had moved you to the front. And Nick's like, well, I'm waiting on my orders. And then Fred asked Nick to stand, because he's trying to make sure the cameras is perfect, the lighting is perfect. So he asked Nick to go stand next to June. It was Serena, Mr. Waterford's wife, and then it was June, and then it was Nick. And you can tell that June and Nick missed each other. I don't know if they in love with each other or they just have love for each other, but they did make a baby. Behind Serena and Commander Waterford's back. But you saw they was like touching hands. Their hands was touching when they was standing each other, trying to show some kind of secret embrace. Because they couldn't do it openly. So they kind of like let their hands kind of hang and touch each other's hand or whatnot. But you saw it. And I'm sure Mr. Waterford, he probably saw it too. But then I was like, it's quite obvious that they still share feelings for each other. Hey, Miss Sislo. Hey, how you doing? You just got from work. I tried to hit you up on IG. And I couldn't find you on IG. I couldn't find you on Instagram. You got to give me your Instagram information. I was trying to hit you up probably about a week ago. So, yeah, you need to give me your Instagram information. But I'm just up here, Sislo 2008. Okay, I'm about to find you right now while I'm on live. Because I know if I don't do it now, I'm going to forget. Then I'm going to have to try to remember which chat it was in. Hold on. Somebody just sent me. Dang, somebody sent me a whole bunch of messages on here. Hold on, let me see. Sislo 2008. Queen Sislo. Okay, I think I found you. Okay, I think I found you. So check to see if you got my request, because I requested to follow you. It should be Tanya's Primetime TV. So now I found you, because I was looking under Mama Sislo. I was looking under your YouTube name. But yeah, I'm just reviewing The Handmaid's Tale, the last episode that came on. the other day. Excuse me. And let's see, where was I at? VTV Ministries. What's VTV Ministries? Are you under VTV Ministries as well? Ooh, pardon me. Pardon me. What's VTV? What's VTV Ministries? Is that on Instagram? So you got two Instagrams? Let me see. VTV Ministries. Okay. Okay, cool beans, cool beans. I'm following you now. I'm following you now. But these Waterfords, man, after all the prayers, after all the public displays of prayer meetings and everything, they finally got to the Canadians, and the Canadians, they asked the Swiss to intercede and be a neutral party and conduct the interviews, because they wanted to screen the Waterfords and again, check out how they were living, what their family life was about, in Gilead and everything. So what they did was they picked the Swiss to become a neutral party, and conduct the interviews in order or in hopes of bringing Canada, to the table. But right before that, June again begs her to change her mind, to try to talk to her husband to leave Nicole, in Canada. But she was like, you know what? Everything changed after I saw baby Nicole. Everything changed, and I want her back. After the interviews, after the Waterfords are interviewed, then victory through virtual memories. Okay, I'm gonna look that up. But after the interviews, after the Waterfords were interviewed, it was time for June to get interviewed. But they didn't want the Waterfords to be present when she got interviewed, which was smart. And I'm sure the Swiss thought that was, proper thing to do, because they could have swayed her answers, in her interview. So the Waterfords were told to, not be present. And when they were talking to June, they were asking her, do you think that the baby, and she was like, basically, the baby, my baby, needs to stay in Canada. That's where she's safer. She was telling them that the Waterfords is not the parents, Mr. Waterford is not the parents, and they told her, yeah, we know already. We heard the tape. Remember the tape that June smuggled to her husband in Canada? And on there it told her, the baby is with Nick. Nick is the father of my baby, and we, did this to, try to survive. They started a relationship, fell in love. It was a survival, instincts. But anyway, they listen to the tape, so they know all about who the real baby's father is. And so she told him, you know what, he can help you guys, because they're like, okay, this is what we can do. If you give us all the lowdown, all the rundown, all the 411 on the Waterfords, then we can make a deal. And we can keep baby Serena in Canada if you can help us get information on the Waterfords. So she's like, okay, well, her father, Nicole's father, Nick, he can help you guys out. But once they talk to Nick, they realize he is no help. And they tell her that he can't be trusted, and she's totally confused. Like, what do you mean he can't be trusted? I've been with him. We done had a baby together. Why can't he be trusted? And obviously, she has a lot to learn about Nick. She don't know. June don't know. She doesn't know Nick. as well as she thought she knew Nick. She thought that he was going to be able to help them, but they was like, no. But when she asked him to help, it seemed like he was going to do it. He was like, okay, 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 okay. You know, the meetings in the morning, okay, okay, okay. But they weren't able to use him. They weren't able to use him. Nick, he's not trying to get involved with those crazy politicians. He's not trying to get in their way. And then on top of that, Nick, he was part of those who led the crusade. He was part of those who led the crusade. She found out later from Serena that he the one who led the crusade to their way of living now. And June had asked Serena, she said, okay, tell me the truth. What did Nick do before he was a driver for you guys? Because June all this time was thinking Nick was just a driver. He was just like an employee, a servant, you know, stuff like that. And Serena was like, oh, because you know Serena's still bitter. She's still bitter. For one, because she wants the baby that June had. And so she's like, oh, so you was sleeping with him? Y'all spent all that time together? And he never told you about his past? That's like telling a lady, oh, you've been sleeping with this man. You've been cooking him dinners and breakfast in bed. And you don't know his last name. You don't know where he lived. You don't know his mama and them. Man, June's face just cracked. Like, okay, she had no idea. She had no idea. She's sleeping with this man and fell in love with this man, then had a baby with this man, and she has no idea who he really is. And now he's Commander Nick. And so most likely he's going to have his own home soon. He's going to have his own wife. And it'll probably be one of them wives up there who can't have no kids, and they gonna have their own handmaids and everything, because that's how it works. That's how it goes in Gilead. But we'll see. But after she found out and when they got to the last prayer, and the cameras was on them, it was publicized. All those handmaids that was standing out there in front of the Lincoln Memorial, it was hundreds and hundreds of handmaids going back what seemed to be like a mile. It was so many handmaids out there, and they all was waiting on June. Because during the prayer, I guess June was supposed to kneel down, and after she knelt down, all the handmaids out there standing in front of them, facing them, is supposed to kneel after June. I thought June was going to be disobedient. But I was hoping that she would just kneel down on that ground, because she's not at home. She's not on her home turf. And she saw how that other handmaid at the Winslow's, how they did her by putting that metal contraption on her mouth and locking her mouth shut permanently. Like, permanently. I was like, please just kneel down on the ground, June. Just kneel down on the ground. Just do what you're supposed to do, because you is not at home. And these people up here in D.C., they seems to be a lot more harsh. Their punishment seems a lot more cruel than what it is where you from. So anyway, she ended up bending down. She knelt down on the ground. All the other handmaids, they knelt down as well. But what she had to say to Serena, it was like she had no fears of repercussion, because normally the handmaids, the Marthas, they don't talk back, they don't get snippy, they don't be rude or disrespectful, because they know what can happen to them. You can lose a tongue, some fingers, a hand, an arm, a foot. It's like back in slavery days. They would kunta kinte they butts. You know what I'm saying? They would kunta kinte they butts. And like it's nothing, without a second thought. And then turn around and be like, how are you this morning? After they punished them in a cruel way. So she was like, basically mad because Serena, she still wants the baby to come back to her. come back to Gilead. And June, of course, is not feeling it. And so she's upset because Serena won't take any action against her husband. And Serena's like, don't worry about it. It'll be over soon. We won't have to see each other after this. And June, that's when she started getting flipped with her. She didn't care. Like, if there's any repercussion, if she would be punished or anything. And she told her, she was like, you will never get rid of me. You will never be done with me until both of her children are safe. Because let's not forget, she still has a child in Gilead, because when she was kidnapped and forced to be a handmaid, they took her daughter and they gave her to another family that couldn't have children. And then they forced her to have a child by the commander, but she ended up having a child by Nick, the driver. So anyway, she has 2 children. One still in Gilead, the one that she had with her husband, June had with her husband before she was, taken away. And then she has the baby that she had with Nick, which is in Canada. So she said, until both of my children are safe, you will never be free from me. She called her cruel. She said she was empty. She has no heart. She don't know how to love. And then she said, I should have let you burn when I had the chance. And that's what I was referring to earlier, when Serena had set her bed on fire in her bedroom and was just going to stand there and burn up. And June came in, rescued her, pulled her out the house. The whole house just went down in ashes. The whole house is burnt up. And then they had to move. But she was like, I should have let you stay in there, and burn. So, Serena, I don't know if she's going to get her way. I don't know if the commander's going to get her way. We're going to have to wait till next episode to find out what they're going to do with baby Nicole. I'm hoping that she won't have to come back to Gilead, because that's going to be hard on Serena. Because not only will one of her children, the oldest one who's left with the other family, when they immediately took her daughter and put her with the other family, she don't really know how that daughter's really doing. I mean, the wife, she was like, oh, she's fine and she's well taken care of and she's smart and she's, da 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 da. But she can't see her on a daily basis. At least with her baby Nicole that she sent to Canada to be raised by her husband and her best friend, she knows that baby is safe, that baby is well taken care of, that baby is really truly loved by somebody who's caring for the child. But if both of the children were back in Gilead, that'd be 2 children that she would have to constantly worry about, are they well taken care of? So yeah, June was pissed. So it's clear to say that Serena is not ready to be an ally with June. It's clear to say. I thought she would be able to pressure Serena into at least just leave the baby there. I knew she wasn't ready to face her husband and try to make some changes for the women and put her foot down for their rights. I knew she wasn't ready for that, but I at least thought she would be like, okay, after listening to June's pleas and her begging her and seeing the conditions of the handmaids up there in D.C., but it took no effect on her. Not on Serena at all. So, now, next episode, what I'm looking forward to is, excuse me, first of all, of course, is they're going to make baby Nicole come back to the Waterfords. Also, if Commander Winslow tries to come on to Mr. Waterford, because y'all saw that whole scene. If y'all didn't, check it out. That was really strange. That was really weird. And Commander Waterford, he looked like he wanted to take that pool stick and just bust him up over his head with that pool stick. But he was just like, oh, okay, just looking uncomfortable, but he didn't do anything. But so I'm looking forward to find out if he's going to try to come on to Mr. Waterford. And also Aunt Lydia, after what she expressed to June and how she kind of softened up and she was hugging on June and they was like crying together. I wonder if there's going to be a change for Aunt Lydia, or if this is just a moment for her. And then next episode, she's going to turn right back to that cruel, mean, like the cruel, mean old aunt that she normally is. And I don't know. And forget all about what happened in DC. So, we have to wait and see what's going to happen. But I am looking forward to that. And what else? What else? Oh. I'm hoping that we can find out also what really happened to the Winslow's handmaid and why they clamped her mouth shut. So I'm hoping that they'll, delve into that a little bit in the next episode so we can see, what really happened or what did she do to receive that harsh of a punishment. So you guys, make sure you check it out. If you guys are not all the way caught up on The Handmaid's Tale, it's on Hulu. You can binge watch if you got like some free time this weekend or this week. This is a great show to binge watch on. A really great show to binge watch on. It's now on season 3, episode 6. I had found out about this show from Michelle A.T.L.E. Brown on her YouTube channel one day, and I've been hooked ever since. So make sure y'all check it out and start from the very beginning. Start on Hulu from the very beginning and binge watch it. That way, next week when we do the review on the next episode, you can be all caught up and you can join us in the chat to discuss the TV show with us. But I'm about to get out of here. This is my second review for the night. I'm tired. I'm about to go lay it down. Well, actually, I might watch a few TV shows or a little bit of YouTube before I go to bed and check some of y'all out on YouTube. But in the meantime and in between time, as usual, Primetime Squad, stay safe, be blessed, and I'm out. Deuces. Good night.